All right, what's good, everybody? It is your stream host and producer, Shaolin Pretzels, once again, and welcome to Dragon Punch Online number 30's Street Fighter V bracket. So, as I like to do for every so often for SF5, I would like to give you guys a little bit of a preview recap show, just to kind of show you what's been going on with the Ohio FGC over the past 29 weeks. Alright, so let's get things started here by talking about our champions real quick. We've had a lot of champs. And a lot of character representation among each of them. Across the previous 29 Dragon Punch Onlines, we have had winners in Core Jam, Ultimate Vitality, Sebman, Mr. Mistopheles, and One Life to Play's own Hitman. With Hitman winning 16 of these, Core Jam winning 10 of these, and the rest winning 1. I use the word a lot here in air quotes. In terms of city representation across all of these champs, about 58.6% of the previous Dragon Punches have been won by a resident of Columbus. Core Jam holding it down for the city of Akron as always, maintaining that 34.5%. Mr. Mistopheles pulling in 1 for Toledo. Ultimate Vitality pulling in 1 for Cincy. In terms of character representation, not a lot of these champs experiment in other characters. Yeah, Rip Cleveland, I know. Hitman, primarily a Bison specialist. We occasionally see a Ryu or a Zangief in some strange cases, but his Bison's always the one that ends up clutching it out. Laura on the side of Core Jam. I don't believe Core Jam's won any with just Seth alone, and he's usually featured himself with Laura on the brackets that he does win, or with Ed, because why not? My man plays Laura and plays Ed. You can see that in this little table over here. Core Jam's most recent wins in Dragon Punch Online have been with Ed. So, and then Ultimate Vitality holding it down with his Jury. Sebman holding down with his Birdie, and Mr. Mistopheles with his signature Akuma, doing all that jazz. But in terms of character representation, that covers our champions characters. What about everyone else? We're literally dealing with a roster of 40 characters, with more on the way. So what's the character representation look like? Well, we have this chart. So I went ahead recently and looked at all of the previous top 4 graphics and assembled this general chart for where every single character has placed in one of our tournaments. So as mentioned before, this top row are characters that have won the Dragon Punch Online. We got Bison, Laura, Ed, Akuma, Birdie, and Jury. And we also have a couple of characters that have placed second. We've had an Abigail place second, which notable big league hitters such as David Swoops, THCB holding it down for Sakura. Core Jam's own Seth has gotten second place a number of different times, but he hasn't clutched out a victory with the character just yet. Green Ranger and Sky Guy have led to Zeku being represented here. Tega, a New York Invader, coming in from, I believe that was Dragon Punch. That was the Dragon Punch that we did a charity drive for, so I want to say that was DPO 11 or 12. Came second place against Hitman. Got a Honda representation here, thanks to Mr. Mach and Chancho, among others. Hornet coming in with both the Ibuki and the Lucy second place. And OH True God, among his second appearances at DPO, has led to a Dalsum placing second place on here, which is always nice. Third place, we have a Urian. We've had several different Urian players get to third place with this character. Big Boots' G placed third. We've had a couple of Vegas here, from J Money to Dark Zero placed third. This Alex here, I believe this Alex placement is purely because of a Mr. Necrocali. Just to double check, I believe if we scroll through the graphics of DPO's past, you can see that apparently the Alex placement's somewhere along this side. Yep, Necrocali coming in with the Alex for DPO 18. Look, going back to the chart, we also have a Balrog, which I believe is 007. We have a Zangief, a Nash, which is purely Kaiba Sega Saturn. I'm pretty sure every time we put Sky Guy in here, who also plays Nash, we usually just put him in under Zeku. A Gil here, thanks to Gorgameth, and a Ryu here, thanks to Hatharo, which is also pretty wild. It's because of me, you'll never see a Chun in top 4, lol. And here below, we have all the characters that have not placed top 4 in a Dragon Punch Online. Some of these characters are played by representatives of Ohio and the Ohio FGC. Thank you, Majestic Melee, for becoming a monk. Yo! Thank you so much for the sub, dude. That means a lot. But we do have a couple of different players in the Ohio FGC who do play these characters. I myself am known for my Poison and Falk, but I've never competed in a Dragon Punch Online. 4% plays Sagat as well as Poison, and he's never competed. THCB plays Blanca, but hasn't placed with Blanca alone. Majin Chancho plays Blanca and hasn't placed with Blanca alone. THCB plays Nakali a little bit, but hasn't placed there. So we do have some like representation in the Ohio FGC with these characters, but it's just, you know, they haven't clutched it out. They haven't clutched it out just yet, but there's always room for changes. Speaking of changes, the number of entrants has changed drastically over the course of all of our previous DPOs. So DPO 10 continues to be the one DPO with the highest number of entrants, which is no surprise because DPO 10, in case you guys don't remember, it was the one Dragon Punch Online that we ran with an actual prize pool. DPO 25 is still bottoming out at the lowest, which is the only time that we've ever had to run a round robin in like the 29 weeks that we've run this tournament since like mid-March. So we've tended to average around, I really should just include like an average here. Well, let's see, what is this? Like cells B2 to B30. All right, we're gonna try to do something here. B2, B30, and we're gonna divide that by 29. So the average number of entrants that we've had in a DPO has been roughly like 11 or 12 entrants. Since we started. So about the size of like a usual like standard bracket, which isn't bad. Good job, Ohio. You do you. You do you. Speaking of all of our entrants, we have a massive table here of everything that you could possibly want to know about each of our competitors. But for the sake of visibility and ease of assessing what is what, we can just, you know, you just kind of look at all these charts here, of which we have a ton of. So in terms of cities represented, we have a lot of unknown names here, and I'm certain that not all of them are unknown. I'm pretty sure I have been told who is from whom or who is from where. I just need to actually like go in and like all the various channels over the various like months that we have ever been like that we've ever done this. I still need to actually like get some stuff narrowed down. In terms of like Ohio City representation, Akron has a lot of attendees. Cleveland has the most attendees. And then Columbus, Toledo, and Cincinnati are conveniently all tied out at like the same number of entrants. I'm sure that once this unknown is like filtered out amongst Ohio cities, then we could probably get a little bit more accurate stats, but that's currently what we have right now. In terms of the number of times that the city has been represented in top 4, as THCB would like to clarify in chat, Cleveland has been in the top 4 of DPO 35 times. There have been 35 times where there's been a representative of the city of Cleveland in Dragon Punch Online, and yet they have never won. It's a very sad reality. I make a joke about it every single time I do a pre-show. The joke's kind of worn thin. Cleveland will win when Cleveland will win. It'll be their time eventually. then bottoming out around like the average numbers, we got like Columbus, Akron, Toledo, which this figure actually isn't all core jam. A couple other notables from Akron have made it to top 4 a couple of times, like Mach and Chancho, for example. In terms of like repeat entrants to DPO, about 38.8% of people who have entered DPO once have like never entered ever again. So basically, about 2/3 of people who enter DPO end up entering in DPO multiple times. So I think that's a really good turnaround point. In terms of the percentage of times that certain entrants have been on stream, about that number shouldn't be there. But basically, similar numbers can kind of be represented for the percentage of times that a certain entrant has been on stream. If you have entered DPO, there is roughly a 2/3 chance that you have been on stream before at some given point in time. So for the most part, a lot of our entrants tend to get like visible on-stream representation at Dragon Punch Online, which I think is pretty nice. In terms of like the number of times that the city has been in grand finals, Hitman pretty much carrying the city of, Columbus out there to be number 1 with 20, followed by Akron with 17 and Cleveland with 10. It's a very sad story. In terms of like the number of times that a person from a different city has entered DPO, Cleveland, again, top of it, 74. And followed shortly by Akron with 69. And the unknowns with 52. But, it being like that. And then this stat always seems to like intrigue me every single time it happens. In terms of like the number of times we've had like bracket resets at DPO, it's been very, very minimal for SF5. So Hitman, and from the looks of it, I think this is Mistopheles, yeah. So Hitman and Mistopheles have both achieved a bracket reset twice. David Swoops has also achieved one, and Core Jam has also achieved one. But the number of times that someone has won after a reset, of all these 6 times, still only half. On average, it's likely that the person who has reset a bracket for DPO has a 50% chance of actually taking the whole thing, which I find to be very interesting. Hitman's rate is a little bit more modified because his is 2 here and 2 here. So Hitman very consistently has 1 after every single time he's achieved a bracket reset. And Mr. Mistopheles is currently, I believe Mistopheles is currently 1 for 1 as well. Core Jam, David Swoops. Actually, no, Mistopheles is also 50-50, so. It is what it is. But yeah, that's just to give you like a little bit of a brief hint as to how everything has looked so far for Dragon Punch Online. But here with me to talk about today's brackets are today's commentators, who I've kept waiting for an extremely long amount of time. Today on commentary for Dragon Punch Online number 30 for the Street Fighter V bracket will be none other than Toledo's own Kenstar FGC and Pen Knight. So I'm going to undeafen myself, and then I'm probably going to interrupt whatever conversation it is that they're having, because yes, I tend to do that.